Crawfish, Zydeco, and Drive-Thru Daiquiris. Welcome to Louisiana's backyard. Every state has its own distinct culture, but some are so unique they're practically their own country. Louisiana is one of those places. It's not just New Orleans, although that is arguably the most unique city in America. The entire state is like its own little world, full of porch dancers, spicy crawfish boils, and a dialect that sounds like French took a wrong turn and never looked back. But before we talk about where these traditions come from, first we gotta get into the subcultures here, because if you're moving to Louisiana, you'll quickly learn that Cajun and Creole aren't just two different ways of saying the same thing. They're actually two different identities with different heritages, food, and music. I mean, there's even a rivalry between the two, kind of like the Yankees and the Red Sox, except way less intense and way more friendly. Cajuns were the original inhabitants of the area, who were expelled from Canada by the British in the 1700s. They eventually made their way down to Louisiana and settled in the swamps. Over time, they developed their own culture, language, and music, which is now known as Zydeco, a mix of French, African, and Caribbean influences. And it's not just old people playing the accordion in a Zydeco band. That's like the stereotype. There's all kinds of Zydeco, from bluesy swamp pop to upbeat dance music. Now, the other group is the Creole, whose ancestors were mostly French and African, and they tend to live in the cities, particularly New Orleans. Creole culture is more urban, more influenced by jazz and R&B, but it's also more homogeneous, meaning there's less of a cultural divide between the two groups than there used to be. Nowadays, most people just consider themselves Louisiana Creole or Cajun, no matter what their actual heritage is. But if you want to make a good impression on the locals, it helps to know the lingo. Here are 3 phrases every Louisianan uses at some point in their life. Laissez les bons temps rouler, which means let the good times roll. It's the official motto of Louisiana, and basically sums up the attitude of the entire state. Cher, a term of endearment that can be used for both men and women. It's like saying honey or baby, and lagnapa, an extra little something, like a free dessert at a restaurant or a bonus item in a crawfish boil. In other words, a gift for doing business. Okay, now let's talk about food. The most iconic dish in Louisiana is probably crawfish, especially in the spring when they're in season. You'll see crawfish boils everywhere, complete with potatoes, corn on the cob, and that spicy Cajun seasoning. And then there's Zydeco, the music genre, not the food. Zydeco parties are a big deal in Louisiana. There's usually a band playing traditional Cajun or Creole music, lots of dancing, and maybe even a little bit of gambling. It's a chance for the whole community to get together and celebrate their unique culture. Of course, no party is complete without drinks, which brings us to the modern twist section, because in recent years, Louisiana has become famous for its drive-thru daiquiri. Yes, you heard that right. You can get a frozen daiquiri without even leaving your car. It started as a pandemic-era gimmick, but it's become so popular that daiquiris are now a staple of Louisiana culture. So if you're ever in the mood for some good times, head on down to Louisiana and let the good times roll. Just don't forget to order some crawfish, eat toofy while you're there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for support us.